Greetings, YouTube. This is Brandon Hill here with Terrence Pegasus, and together we are the creators of Wild Space Saga, the epic sci-fi adventure series you didn't know you needed. And this is the Wild Space Wildcast, made specifically to tell you exactly why you need it, and as we've been around for a hot minute in relative silence on DeviantArt, what you've been missing. But before we begin, take a moment to subscribe and hit that beautiful notification bell so that you won't miss a single bit of news, events, and live streams from our channel. Whether you catch us live or are watching after the fact, we want you to join us on the Northwest Passage. And finally, if we piqued your interest, links to our books available in paperback and ebook, as well as everywhere else you can find find it on the social medias, are available down in the doobly-doo. Speaking of the books, just want to show them off to you once more because of course these little beauties are great reading. Now these are the older covers. The first book, Between the Devil and the Dark. And the second book, Wrath and Redemption. You'll see them in slightly different covers on Amazon because the paperback versions of the updated books haven't quite come in yet, but you can get them in ebook format. So, whatever you like, go ahead and check them out. The ebook format ones that have the expanded versions have a great bit of extra content, a B plot for the first book.
Not extra content. What it was is the stories weren't really long enough for the format, so we went back over them and with a fine-tooth comb and thought, what can we add to make this better? And so it's not that they've got extras; it's now they're in really as long as they should have been, and as in depth as they should have been.
Right, and yeah, one of those things we added was a B plot for the second book, which makes things a lot more interesting, a lot more fleshed out, a lot more understandable, and it just makes the first book especially a whole lot better overall. So I highly recommend you check it out, even if it's only available right now in ebook format. Go ahead and see what you're missing out on. And of course, our third book, Twisted Fate, is coming out May 23rd. Save that date, people. We're going to be doing some special things very soon involving Twisted Fate, and for the release of the book. And overall, people, just go ahead and subscribe to us. Get in on the news, get in on the talk about our vast, beautiful sci-fi universe. We even do we're going to be doing drawing live streams like the one I did last night, and we're also planning on doing some read-alouds very, very soon, which I want to share with everybody else. All right, so we were expecting a guest today, but maybe he's not coming in. I don't know. Maybe he got time wrong. But if he doesn't show up, that's okay because we're here and you love us, and you know you do.
And I recently cheered, as the lack of hair shows.
Oh, and by the way, every time, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but every time we do our little live streams, we're always playing like a different bit of music, little ambient music, and that's our Wild Space Saga themes done by Terry himself. You want to talk a little bit about that, man?
Well, I can do. I mean, it's nice to get a word in. just to poke at him. I love poking at Brandon. If you've ever watched us, you know that. No, I mean, I've had ideas for songs related to our content for many years because we've been doing this a lot of years, but I'm not musically talented enough or resource abundant enough to have created them until generative AI programs. Now, whether you like them or not, well, that's up to you. But for me, I've now been able to get these lyrics together and actually put what's in my head into a tune. And that's what we play in the background. We usually play an unreleased one every time. And then each week, I try to do it every week, you'll have a little series of songs related to either a faction or a story point or a lore point within the background of our stories. It isn't necessarily related to the main stories, but these are characters and people that you encounter and the backgrounds as to how that faction either came about or how the colony was established. The current one I'm doing at the minute is about the pirate clans and how there was a massive civil war and the main players in that. I haven't uploaded today's yet. I normally do it a bit earlier, but today's one I'm a bit late with. But check them out, have a listen, have some fun. they're always going to be free, and we're never going to be charging for them. So, just sit back, enjoy, and learn about our world through song.
Yep. And yeah, we know it, and like I said, we do some things using AI, but it's more just for fun than really to try to set it out as our own work. So even if you don't like AI, I think you can appreciate at least the thematic things that we're trying to go for when we're.
I'm happy to admit Suno does the heavy lifting, but the words are all mine.
Yeah, and I've seen some people do some really fun things about with Suno, like that song that I heard one time about eating a jalapeno pepper and then accidentally. Oh, there we go. Michael's here. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I literally just walked in the house. So.
No, you're fine. It's only 6 minutes. I wouldn't crucify you for that, but as you see, Brandon is absolutely having kittens over it.
Welcome to the Wild Space Saga Wildcast, man. All right, everyone, this is Michael Crawford. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man. Tell us a little something about yourself.
Well, I'm old, I'm fat, and that's me in a nutshell. and I'm an insane fan of Star Trek, particularly Star Trek: The Original Series. Also a big into Battlestar Galactica and Star Wars, which is what's that? I can't quite see.
Sorry, don't be flying all the way across the pond just to hug him.
It's the Enterprise, but it's just the T-shirt was hanging up, hiding it.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, I'm working on
my 3-foot one's downstairs.
This I 3D printed, right? So it's the Enterprise refit. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
okay, refit.
Yeah, but you see, I made mine.
Yeah, no, mine's one of the little Polar Lights kits, but yeah. But the fact is, it is the refit, which is the babes.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
So to scale.
Oh yeah.
I printed this for the Galactica, right?
Yeah.
So these are the same scale. Everything's right.
Yeah.
And we have ISD, right? Also to scale with the Enterprise. Yeah. And I'm currently been working on a project for the last couple of weeks, and it's going to probably take at least another month or two to finish.
It's big boy.
Let's see. Here is part of 1/4 of one side. Okay, and this is to the same scale as the other things.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this.
Oh, it's a cube.
Yep.
It's a cube.
So, but I'm printing it in a whole lot of parts to make it as authentic.
Give it the depth. Yeah.
So underneath,
isn't a Borg cube about the size of a small moon?
No, you're thinking of the Death Star. The Borg cube is 3 kilometers cubed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you think about this is 1/4 of one side here, right?
Yeah.
Which would be, so if it's 3,000 across, that means this would be roughly 1,500 meters. The Imperial Star Destroyer, 1,600 meters. So you can see they are to scale. And the little wimpy Enterprise.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty interesting. You built they're actually to scale from each other. I didn't realize the Enterprise was that tiny compared to the Galactica.
Well,
yeah. The Galactica
that one's only just over 300 meters long. It's not huge.
Yeah, the Enterprise refit is 300 meters. The Galactica is about 1,400. So, and the Imperial Star Destroyer is 1,600.
Oh, interesting.
So, and the Borg cube, of course, 3,000. But the Borg cube is 3,000 cubed, making it so much bigger.
The internal volume is massive. Yeah.
That gives me an idea, Terry. But there actually is a 3D.
You're giving him an idea. God, when Brandon gets ideas, No.
There's a 3D printing place where I live. What we need to do is maybe do a design like do sort of like multiple angles and whatnot, the different of one of the ships for Wild Space Saga, and I could probably take it to the 3D printing place. They might be able to print out a model of those ships, or even the Reckless in the Shadow Star. Oh, show them the model.
I don't know what your ships look like, so that.
Well, I did build one by hand years ago. That's the Shadow Star.
Is that like the hero ship of the
It's
series?
one of the hero ships. Yeah.
Yeah, the other one's the Reckless.
And how big is that?
350 meters long is the idea of this one.
So a little bigger than the Enterprise as far as length.
It's massive. It's quite a lot of empty space in it because it's a transport. So it's got a huge cargo hangar section, and then big engine area because it's it's a very fast thing. It's sort of a quick response vehicle.
So now you're talking to someone who's completely ignorant of your guys' work, so forgive me for that. I mean, Brandon and I are old friends, but I haven't read any of this stuff. So is this universe you guys are working on, would you call it like hardcore sci-fi, like Expanse level, or is it more
it's not hard
like Star Wars? Where does it fall in the...
Probably somewhere along the lines of Firefly, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of somewhere between Star Trek and Star Wars in the sense that I tried to describe everything as if it could work, but not necessarily go right into the physics of it, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Something your mind's eye can handle, but not to the point where we're having to really go into the physics of things.
So not like The Martian or Hail Mary or anything like that.
No. They don't get that crazy into. Well, there may be some times that we have to do it if we have to get down to brass tacks and not use like the sci-fi element of technology, like if a ship has to generate artificial gravity or something like that. But we do have like spinning O'Neill cylinder habitats and stuff like that. And
that's mainly because those kind of people are resource limited. So if you can't afford the grav plates, you got to spin your place to do it.
Yeah, we have a faction that we call Space Hippies. So they kind of live in massive ragtag fleets and share resources and stuff like that. And they have like certain ships that they have O'Neill cylinder type habitats where they, if you ever remember Interstellar, how they built the colony ships.
How fast are these ships? Do they go faster than light, or are they?
We have hyperspace for that.
Okay. Yeah. So you use a hyperspace type mechanic.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's sort of like almost along the lines of the principle of like in Star Trek when you're going into warp speed, you're actually kind of going into sort of a parallel universe, that kind of thing. So.
Well, warp speed kind of bends space around you.
Yeah.
Hyperdrive actually takes you into another.
Yeah.
Think about like
in Star Trek, a little mixed around there. Yeah.
Well, here's the funny thing is that I love the Star Trek versus Star Wars stuff because I will take that battle any day because it's such an easy one to make people understand. Star Trek
there was this amazing narrative. I don't even know where it came from. But it was on YouTube where like the Federation gets sucked into the Star Wars universe. And they were talking about how, the Federation's weapons and everything like that were an ability to replicate things were, of course, far more advanced than anything in Star Wars. But Star Wars had far more advanced FTL technology. Right. And it was so easy to install into any kind of ship. So the Enterprise traded with other planets and just got their own hyperdrive units and basically wiped the floor with the Empire.
I think you're talking about Sci-Fi Rants series he did on it. That sounds a lot like what he was saying.
Well, it was done in a narrative format.
Right. Where he starts out, he breaks down a little bit about the different technologies in one video, and then in another video, he actually says, "Here's my story of what would happen." And so it's the problem is most of the time we give way too much credit to Star Wars when in actuality the Federation versus the Empire would be much like if you had today's American military fighting the full might of the British Empire in 1600. So the Brits may outnumber us, but you know what? You can hit an aircraft carrier with literally 1 million arrows, and it's still never going to penetrate that.
Or cannonballs in their case,
right? But I just said, arrows, cannonballs. The occasional ballista might be able to damage a plane on the deck of an aircraft carrier if you could actually get a shot.
Yeah, you hit it in the right place.
Yeah, but you would have to get so close to it because we don't think about it, but those types of weapons, even though like the big catapults and stuff, still only had a range of a few hundred meters.
I don't think that even that would give them a chance because our weapons are far too precise.
Right. Well, they're precise. I mean, a sniper with a rifle could take out people at distance well beyond anything they could do, and that's actually the key to Trek versus Wars that people don't talk. Like I said, so with my scale model of the Star Destroyer, okay. So based on what we actually see in canon in Star Wars, this ship, if the ship was actually this size, its maximum range would be roughly, let's see, I gotta do some math, about 16 meters from this ship. All right. So 16 meters in any direction would be roughly, like the dimensions of a small house.
Yeah.
As far as range.
Based on that scale,
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas this little guy, if it were actually this size, the range would be, I think it was something like 3.5 miles.
See?
Right. So
that's just the phaser weapons. Yeah.
Yeah,
Phaser beam is a coherency of several thousand.
Well, in the original series, and like I said, I'm such a diehard fan. It's stupid. But in the original series, the episode "The Changeling," the Enterprise targeted, armed, and hit a 1 meter by about 20 centimeter object, Nomad. If you remember what Nomad looked like. Hit that thing dead on with a photon torpedo at 80,000 kilometers. Now compare that to the maximum range of a Star Destroyer in Star Wars is roughly 60 kilometers.
So, well, for Wild Space Saga, the weapons capabilities, Federation would probably be able to wipe the floor of even the Second Imperium's most advanced stuff.
Right. But how? Okay, so as far as like, do you go for more realistic space combat, or is it going to be like World War II fighter jets, or
there's a combination, depending on the ship, really. There's a lot of kinetic kill stuff because part of the point is that there was an advanced. There was a point where humans were very advanced, and then they blew themselves back to the Stone Age equivalent.
Gotcha.
Fighting amongst each other. So a lot of the stuff now is recovering to trying to get back to that. So a lot of the weapons are either, electromagnetic, rail weapons, or the occasional laser, but you need the power generation to actually have laser weapons.
They still use they still use projectile weapons, but instead of having them using a propellant like gunpowder, the guns are actually miniaturized rail guns.
That makes perfect sense. As long as and the only thing I would, and again, I know you're not going for total realism here, but the only thing that I would argue is that power for laser-based weapons on spaceships would not be a problem. It's the only time you run into any kind of weird, problematic thing as far as power is for the main engines. Because you can't just use electricity to power space engines, right? So you need theoretically you could do it with like ion type drive. But the problem with ion drive is your acceleration would be so slow it would take you years just to accelerate, to a decent speed. So that's why we use rocket fuel, because
a lot of the ships you would use chemically fired rocket motors.
Right. And then you run into fuel problems, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's why a lot of ships are mostly fuel tank, and then
we do have ship fuel in our
things like the Shadow Star. They're from the earlier era. So the main ship, the Reckless, we don't have a picture of that one handy. I didn't build a model of that one yet, mainly the reason I did the Shadow Star is because I gave it that cowled over bridge, and it was a pain in the ass to draw, so I needed a physical model to work from.
What about the huge thing of the Reckless you made years ago? What did you ever do with that?
It's my friend still has it. I don't know what he's done with it. Yeah. But I have with those, they're a bit more advanced. They have what I call graviton wave drives.
Okay.
So they have like
they have a way to
field that propels them using using gravity in a way.
That's actually like similar. Like I was thinking about for a story that I'm kind of breaking right now. But yes, if you're going to do some kind of efficient drive that doesn't require ungodly amounts of fuel, then if you had like the big breakthrough in technology would be somehow being able to generate gravity. If you can generate gravity, then yeah, you can literally have the ship just fall in whatever direction you want to. And depending on, more acceleration means more G-forces inside, but, you can push it. You can counter that a bit by having gravity fields inside the ship that are in the opposite direction that's like
inertial dampener, yeah.
And so that allows you to accelerate faster than a human could tolerate. But light speed obviously still becomes a problem, and that's where you got to write some kind of MacGuffin to go faster than light, because
that's where the hyperspace comes
in the real world there's no way to go faster than light. So and I know people think there are ways because they saw in Star Trek that you can bend space, and it's like, yeah, but we have no practical way of even thinking about doing that.
That's direct, by the way. That's what we're trying to show you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty straightforward type shit. Is it just flat on the bottom then, or is that for landing?
Yeah. I design a lot of my ships with the with flat bottoms. They've got all the cargo ramps, and then the gears comes down. I have a thing for just giving them massive wheels,
right?
Because I like wheeled wheeled gear. So even though you've got like a 50,000-60,000 ton ship there, 300 meter long ship, they have huge gear for sort of landing with. But when they've got kind of mass shifting things because of the gravity systems, they can have this massive landing gear, without it collapsing on itself.
I like the design. Is that how many angles do you have of that ship? Or is that...
There should be some.
Let me see if I can pull up some more angles. Give me a second.
There should be a front and a back one. I don't think I did one from the top with this one.
Where is it? Based on that design, it wouldn't be that hard to 3D print that.
Where'd it go? I posted the image up on here, and now all of a sudden I can't find it on my tabs. It's weird. Hang on.
Drop it down a second while you look. I mean, let me let's see if I can.
Okay, let me take it off and. There we are. Okay. And it seems that Victor's on, and he I guess he recognizes you, Michael. Salty Trekker.
Who, me?
Yeah, he's a friend of ours, a friend of mine where I live, and he's a part of our book critique group, and he popped up Salty, and I was like, I didn't realize that he recognized you from your YouTube show.
Yeah, people call me Salty or Anti-Trekker from the old days, of course. You go way back, you could call me King Theist, but I don't even know if you remember me from that far back, Brandon.
I remember you from Rational Roundtable. That's where I first saw you.
That was, there's actually still, so King Theist was the channel I had before I started Rational Roundtable. And there's still a couple of videos up on it that are from like 20 years ago.
Okay.
Making me feel really old because I don't have gray hair. I'm not that fat. And so. And my voice is actually higher pitched, which is weird.
It's all right, man. We all grow. I mean, hell, I started getting gray hairs when I first started teaching. And
yeah, but you still got a decent looking head of hair on top.
Yeah, I was always afraid I'd lose my hair because my dad is sort of balding, and I always, when I was a kid, I always asked him like, "When did you start losing your hair?" And Dad would always say, "How old are you?"
Well, I sometimes, in fact, usually I wear my hair down, and when my hair is down, I look like Gandalf. Just to be clear, Gandalf the Grey, not Gandalf the White. But
yeah, that's from the front and behind, but I didn't get around to colouring it. So this section is actually quite a bit narrower behind this section here. Is quite narrower behind this forward section.
Well, you say this section here like you're pointing at something, but I just see the picture.
Oh, of course, you don't see my mouse, do you? Well, sorry about that. Right, can you see me mouse pointer now?
Yes,
I can see your mouse.
This section here is narrower than the bit in front of it.
Gotcha. Yeah, it tapers in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the back is a more uniform as far as going out.
Yeah, so you've got these are the graviton wave drives here, and then you've got the standard sort of atmosphere systems here. So then when it takes off, you fire all that up just to get back into orbit. And then you've got like a rear cargo door, and that's access to maintenance and systems and engineering. The rest of this is weapons pod, because this thing's basically a battleship.
Gotcha.
As you saw in that other picture, this was all opened up to reveal the main weapon systems.
And as far as is there purpose to the wings other than just design aesthetic, or is it just
that's just so it can maneuver in an atmosphere?
Gotcha. Gives it a little more oomph.
Yeah, so I've got several pictures. That's the side view of it. It's not very clear because I never got around to colouring it. But you see the whole missile pod across the back.
Right.
And all of these aren't windows. These are all the gun ports.
Yeah, the Reckless is a warship of the First Imperium. A little bit of history is that the First Imperium was sort of a unified government that the original colonists in this section of the galaxy that the story takes place in had originally formed, but it fell apart in a very short time and resulted in a series of wars that really messed up things for humanity. There's very few ships even remotely salvageable left from that war. The Reckless is one of the very few that survived almost fully intact. So
it's funny actually, because I noticed one of the recommended things is here is one I did for fun. It was a J.J. Abrams version of it.
Well, except that you're missing all the lens flares and stuff. So.
Oh yeah, but I saw that and I thought I've just got to do an Abrams Reckless for the fun of it.
I like it.
Let's check.
That one looks a lot sleeker, but
yeah, it was never going to replace what I was actually doing. What was I going to do? Let me drop this down a second, and I will find what else I was looking for.
So the heroes of your universe, they're the ones that have the Reckless.
The Reckless and the Shadow Star.
Yeah.
Xerxes Paraska is the captain of the Reckless, and Paige Wilson is the captain of the Shadow Star.
I'm just going to bring the screen back up, Brandon.
Okay.
1 second. It's easier if I look for it and then share when I find it. So this is what I meant about having big wheels as landing gear.
Okay.
I actually designed it to wing fold.
Come out of the hull plating.
So again, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got huge landing gear.
Now that ramp has also got to be huge. If this is a 300 meter long ship.
Yes.
That ramp is.
So this whole tapered section is basically cargo hangar deck and where the obviously the landing gear is stored.
Right.
Then above that is where you've got like the habitable decks. There's a lot of sort of garrison and stuff like that because it was originally a warship. there's garrison and facilities, sort of, and it's all roughly in the center of the ship.
Speaking of garrisons, what the Reckless has an interesting little cheat. The Reckless has technology from the First Imperium, really advanced stuff that current science probably would not be able to fully understand.
Right.
They have a dimensional shifting technology called garrison mode, where they can basically turn the ship into a TARDIS. It's bigger. It can make it bigger on the inside than on the outside.
Okay.
Yeah, to be able to store, like, if they have like large groups of soldiers or whatnot that need to be dropped in, you can use garrison mode and drop them in. Not only that, but they start pulling interesting little tricks using garrison mode by being able to trap people inside inside the ship in sort of a maze of corridors that they can never escape unless they choose it. I mean, it becomes really fun, especially in we have something with that in the third book that is going to be pretty cool.
And this is the Shadow Stars landing gear configuration.
And I see the wings, I assume, fold down when it's in flight mode.
Yeah, so the model I showed you, that's that.
Right, that's like your cruising configuration. So
you'll see there should be I'm trying to get the camera angle there where it slants in. That's where those massive doors are at the back.
So how did you make that one that you have there?
It's layered up plastic card, which I then shaved to shape, and then basically attached all the engine intakes on the side separately.
Wow.
And then sanded
like a lot of work.
Oh yeah. I sanded it all down and then painted it. Yeah. That's why I've never done the Reckless. After doing that one, it's like, oh god.
So that's why you never want to color your stuff.
No, well, you've seen what I already put into drawing them. I mean, it's a nightmare. I don't know why am I like this. I mean, that should be then. Yeah, that's the fight version.
And yet, when I draw your stuff, you're always so exacting at how it looks.
Yes,
well, that's a good.
It's
thing.
a nightmare being me.
No, I would say if you made some good orthographic views of every section of the ship, from the looks of it, it wouldn't be that hard to make a 3D model out of.
Say that. Well, let's have a look. Because with the Shadow Star, right, here we go. I shall bring it all back up again. I keep taking it away and then bringing it back. It's just better than watching me go through a load of stuff. So that, yeah, B has to approve it again. So I did a colour one of that from the front.
Yeah.
But we do have top and bottom and front and back.
I probably can go ahead and take that.
And that's a different ship entirely. So that's, oops, how did that get in there? But yeah, I do have quite a lot for the Shadow Star. It's just because it was such a nightmare that I came up with, I had to do a lot for it compared to the Reckless.
We have other ships that we've designed as well, like the Bellerophon and the Laughing Cat. And so, like the Laughing Cat is something is a ship that right now I'm doing a series of short, well, not a series, but a short comic on that happens to take place aboard that ship. It's a pirate ship. You do have, that's another faction that's in our world. We do have space pirates.
Right.
As a matter of fact, they kind of eked out a little bitty kingdom of their own, and they have a pirate king and a pirate queen. You have the pirate king Reed and the pirate queen Alexa. Alexa is an amazing character.
I'm coming back with the screen sharing.
Okay. Yeah, Alexa is an amazing character. She's just completely badass.
This is about 2005 when I dabbled with 3ds Max.
Okay.
So this was Bellerophon. I mean, so.
And that's
it's a 4 kilometer long planet killer.
Okay.
The idea of that is it's a full on invasion vessel. It is known as the Infinite class because
I'm assuming that one belongs to the bad guys.
Actually, it belongs to the space pirates, and it's the only one left. And half of it doesn't work currently because they don't know how to fix it.
In our world, there's a lot of things that people still use that date back to the first Imperium era. That they have things on it that we still don't know how they fully function. One of the things we have in the story are we also have giant robots, what they call gestalts. And
when you say giant, what kind of scale are we talking about?
How big are they again, Terry?
50 meters, so 140 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, basically almost kaiju sized. So, yeah, they
not to the level of Avas, but yeah, close.
So yeah, there's a lot that's still not fully understood about them. They have various corporations that are trying to unlock the things that are not quite working yet, and then also there's one that's kind of mixing their technology with other types of technology, which is kind of a theme of the current book we're working on, book number 4. So it's going to be a lot that's done there. Hold on a second. Okay.
And is there an ongoing antagonist for the story then?
There sort of is, but we're building towards them.
Okay, so we haven't actually met them yet.
They're mostly hinted at the moment.
Gotcha.
Yeah, basically, Wild Space Saga, and I'll kind of get back to brass tacks on that, is an action adventure book series that involves Zerk Sparaska and Paige Wilson. Their adventures as captains of the Reckless and Shadowstar, respectively, and often their paths cross. What we're dealing with is the current situation is that they have a planetary alliance, which basically kind of pulled themselves together after the rise of, and I'm sorry, I keep hitting that microphone. After the rise of a second Imperium, which is sort of an expansionist empire. And so they're kind of poised to just outright war against the second Imperium, which has somewhat more advanced technology, especially when it comes to their ability to produce soldiers. They use a cloning technique. It's not exactly cloning. If you ever watch Space Above and Beyond, it's almost similar to the principle of how tanks are made. As a matter of fact, they're called tanks for slang because they're grown in tanks. So they have these types of soldiers which are expendable, and you can make as many as you want. And so it's not only that, but they do have slightly more advanced technologies. They already managed to annex one of the Alliance worlds recently, and they have another Alliance world in the key position that is basically in the state of constant war, because it's disputed between the Alliance and the Imperium. And so that's part of the story. That's part of the story, part of the main conflict, and also another darker elemental conflict that has the Imperium gaining the assistance of a mysterious race that has basically destroyed entire worlds in the past, a long, long time ago, before humans were ever even in that region of space. In Wild Space Saga, there are only 2 alien races that humans know about. You have the Iblisians, which are very mysterious. They're a little bit like the Vorlons from Babylon 5. Maybe not quite so cryptic, though. They're a bit more open and friendly. And then you have the Felians, they're actually 3 subspecies, but they're all part of the same race. And some of them are actually genetically compatible with humans. We're not going full Star Trek, but they can crossbreed with humans, but there is a good reason why. It's not just something that is like in Star Trek. They kind of half explain it with that whole, one race that seeded all the other races and gave birth to human life. No, in this story, the Felians are genetically engineered to be genetically compatible with humans, but for a particular reason. You kind of see it in part because when you get like a second generation from somebody who crossbred with a Felian, the result is something called a tertiary, which has incredibly powerful psionic abilities. One of the characters is one of our main characters is a tertiary. Well, she's more of a side character, but has enough adventure to be a semi-main character. And she's her name is Kumiko Zero, or as everybody else calls her, Madam Frostbite. She's kind of interesting because she's had
mainly because of her demeanor.
What?
Mainly because of her demeanor towards people.
Yeah, she is a little bit of a bogish.
Frosty.
And,
she's highly intelligent. She's a prodigy, so doesn't relate to most ordinary people on the same level. So finds it hard to actually interact with them or tolerate people who basically she sees as somewhat below her.
Right.
There's a running gag in the third book where, like, every time Zerk says something stupid, he feels like somebody plucks him on the back of his head, even though there's nobody there, because she's telekinetic. Like, again, he felt that sorcerer's thump on the back of his head, even when he's right.
He's one of the few normies that she likes because, you know, he can actually banter on her level.
So she does have a soft spot for children. So she's always
Sauteed or fried?
Well, what'd you say, Terry?
And cats.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
The spread of Mr. Pickles is legendary.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, she has a quirk where for people who she truly likes, she will leave a kitten at their doorstep with instructions to name that his name is Mr. Pickles, and she expects you to care for that cat.
She will check.
Yeah, there's like one particular person that she stayed on this planet called Haven for a while, and became friendly with a Felian pleasure boy named Renly.
A pleasure boy. Huh?
Yeah, there are many. You would call them brothels that are run by Felians.
Well, yeah, I would say if his job title is pleasure boy, probably a brothel. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, they're just simply called Felian pleasure houses. The only difference is that for the people who are employed there are treated extremely well. Not in comparison to something that would happen among humans. Anyway, she becomes very friendly with a Felian pleasure boy named Renly, but she's forced to leave Haven after a certain adventure she has, but before she does that, she leaves him a cat named Mr. Pickles, which he goes on ahead and takes care of.
It does come across like, because we have androids and some of them are a bit weird, and one of them had been murdering kittens, so he found himself folded like a pretzel relatively quickly when she realised what he'd been up to, because you know you do not harm cats around Frosty.
Yeah. Like for America, don't touch our boats with frostbite. Don't touch my cats.
Of course, for the female character, that can be taken multiple ways.
Oh God, I just thought about that.
Yeah, no, I know. I did realise, you know, she doesn't like people playing with her pistols. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hey, I didn't say it. I'm just saying.
No, but I will.
You don't have
I knew
to.
what you were implying.
Yeah. So.
Oh man, didn't think about that.
I already knew where he was going.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You're saying that this highly intelligent woman leaves cats at people's doorsteps, saying, "Take care of my kitten." I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so this whole book is a euphemism then.
She is a cat lady, just without the crazy.
Yeah. She doesn't have like a docking port you have to connect to, does she?
No.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could have gone there. I mean, Renly, you know, docked with her regularly.
Oh. You know, I brought that one on myself.
Yeah, you did. You very much did.
The thing about Felians is that, okay, well, the two different races, Lycians sort of look like centaurs with a cone-shaped head and 4 arms. Whereas Felians, they look a lot like us. They're two of the subspecies. You have one that looks almost human, except they have stripes on their skin, really wild hair, and a tail. And the other ones, they basically look like an anthropomorphic cross between a cat and a dog. And those are the two compatible subspecies. One's more compatible than the other. Then you have a third one, which looks like sort of that second version of Felians turned up to 11. They're much bigger and they have longer snouts, and they actually can walk upright on 2 legs, but also can run around on all 4s when needed. That one is not compatible. That's actually the original genetic stock that they were derived from. So yeah, you can kind of at least see why humans at least would be attracted to Felians, the ones that are compatible.
The more human ones.
Yeah, their bodies actually produce pheromones that do make them attracted to humans, and actually, genetically speaking, they are designed to be even more attracted to humans than they are to their own kind.
So they're into the whole interracial thing.
Yeah, like I said, there is a purpose to it, and as it will be revealed as the story progresses.
Okay.
I mean, the humans have already suspected that there is a purpose to it, because they know that the chances of them going out and finding an alien race that actually can crossbreed with them are practically zero, because of them being from completely different worlds. So they know, okay, somebody's been fiddling around with their genes, something new, about them and about us. So,
yeah, I mean, like, if you look at from a realism perspective, have you guys seen or read Project Hail Mary?
I've watched it. Yeah, I love that.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I haven't read it.
That is probably one of the most accurate representations of an alien encounter in film. Because Rocky is so different. And I don't remember in the movie, I don't remember how deep they get into it. If you like the idea of what they're doing, I highly recommend the book, because the book is like a master's class in physics and biology.
Yeah, I downloaded the audio book. I just haven't started reading it or listening to it yet.
Yeah, I did the entire audio book, and to give you an idea of the intensity that this guy goes through. And I like his style of writing. If and when I ever get around to writing my own book, I'm going to steal a little bit from his style, as far as the science is concerned. But like when, in the movie, in both the movie and the book, they start the exact same way. He wakes up, he has no idea where he is. He has no idea who he is. He just knows that he's in this metal room. And he goes through this whole thing about trying to figure everything out, where he's like, okay, so who am I? Well, I don't know my name, but I'm talking to myself in English. So that means I've got to be from the US, Canada, the UK, South Africa. He's thinking of the countries that speak English. He goes, let me see. How far is it from New York to Los Angeles? About 3,000 miles. Oh, wait, I said miles. So that means I'm probably from the U.S. and he mentioned some country in Africa that still uses imperial units. And so then he figures out from his accent that he must be from the U.S. After he figures all that out, he's trying to figure out why is he so struggling to do anything. Like, just to lift his arm is like maximum effort. And he doesn't think it's because he was just in a coma, because he looks at his body and he's in the best shape of his life. And that's because he had electrodes all over his body stimulating his muscles the whole trip. And he's been on this trip, we find out later, for about 4 years. So for 4 years, he's been constantly working out. So he's in great shape. But he can't. But then why is everything a strain? And so then he takes an object and he drops it. He goes, that doesn't seem right. He drops it again. Still doesn't seem right. So then he starts measuring the amount of time it takes for something to hit the floor. And he realizes that, wait a minute, gravity seems to be 15 meters per second, but gravity is supposed to be 9.8 meters per second. What's going on here? And he goes, okay, so I must not be on Earth. And so then he starts thinking, but there's no place in the solar system where gravity would be that particular level, because the gas giants you can't stand on, and every rocky body in the solar system is smaller than Earth. So he's struggling to figure this out. And then he finally figured, I must be on a spaceship that is accelerating at 15 meters per second. And that's the first couple of chapters of the book. In the movie, he wakes up, he looks out the window and goes, I'm in space. Because they have to, and I understand, they have to simplify it, because if you go through everything he does in the book, the movie will be 20 hours long.
Yeah, it's time constraints.
Right. But I like the fact that they show him doing the actual science experiments to figure out everything. And this continues through the whole, like they get into the whole astrophage thing on a much deeper level. They get into Rocky's physiology on a much deeper level. And I really dig the deep science dive. I like science fantasy as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking Star Trek or Star Wars or anything else. I just find it refreshing that we have something that is so real that the even people like Neil deGrasse Tyson struggle to find anything wrong with it.
Hard sci-fi has always been difficult for me to get into. Not because it's bad or anything. It's just sometimes the writers get a little too into their sciencey stuff.
It's easy to get into the weeds with hard sci-fi. Yeah, I'd agree.
I would recommend then if you check out if you do audiobooks before you listen to Project Hail Mary, give his other book Artemis a try. For one thing, it's read by the incomparable Rosario Dawson.
Sorry, can't resist this. Speaking of Artemis, yeah. Sorry. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
That's right. And it's done. It's written by the same guy, so he does try to. He does a lot of work on the science, but it's not focused on the science, even though it's mentioned throughout the story. Because the main character is not a scientist, and so we don't have the main character doing like scientifically accurate experiments and stuff like that. Instead, we have more of a person who doesn't know all this stuff but learns quickly. And she lives on Artemis, which is a city on the moon, which is kind of funny because this book was written before the Artemis space thing was done. So, Anyway, sorry about the rambling on.
It's cool. It's all right. Wild Space Saga has a combination of some hard sci-fi elements, but not a huge amount. We don't go like into the weeds like other authors do, but it's more. It is pretty much generally soft sci-fi.
Right.
Stuff that's more gonna gear more toward your action and adventure thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
My preference is storytelling. So I tend to allow them to have what they need to get where they're going. Rather than sort of really bury it in that. But I do enjoying hard sci-fi and proper physics and, getting into that detail is perfectly understandable. Some people really enjoy that, and I find it fascinating in real life.
I'd say this, Terry, is that I think that the story always has to come first, right? If you don't have a good story, it doesn't matter hardcore, softcore, whatever. It's going to be boring, or it's going to make people roll their eyes about how stupid it is, or whatever. And so, when you look at Weir's work, and he's only written, it's kind of funny. He's written 3 books, 2 of which have been turned into movies now. But with The Martian and now this, but with The Martian, very simple premise: guy gets stranded on Mars. Right. And now the story is a story of survival, man versus elements. Right. And in Project Hail Mary, obviously, it's a more direct threat to humanity with the astrophage thing. But that creates the story that then introduces us to Rocky and all that. And I think it's a really nice take on aliens in that, if this were happening, if there are any other intelligent species at about our technology level, they're going to send a ship too. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I love that scene where he first saw the ship. He freaked out, and he's just kind of came to his senses and realized it was a first contact situation and had to overcome his fears.
Well, and, a funny thing, and this is one of those things that movies. I know everybody always says, "Oh, well, the book is so much better."
Book is always going to be better.
I disagree. I think that the experience is very different.
It's a different medium. So
the movie is a passive, absorb the story and stuff kind of experience. Where a book, you actually have to process, and it's a little more active on the part of the reader. But that's not making. I'm not saying movies are dumb and books are smart.
No.
It's just they're a different type of experience. They affect different parts of your brain. And so I think that I love the movie Hail Mary and I love the book Hail Mary. They're different. And there are details in the book that aren't in the movie, but that's okay. The movie they both tell the same
because
story.
sometimes they just can't physically translate that across. I've had this discussion with comic book films where people want to see these iconic panels from the comic in the film, and I'm like, you realize that panel represents probably less than half a second in reality.
Right.
It's one single panel of the Batman as he's hanging off the side of a building with his cape flapping. Yes, it's iconic, but it's
although
literally
Batman v Superman,
that amount of time.
Yeah,
yes, he did it in that, didn't he? Yeah. And it's literally that amount of time.
Right.
So what
you know what? It's funny.
Movies producer supposed to do? It's not enough time for
like
them.
me freaked out when the lightning went behind him.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. However, it's only a split second, and I appreciate that in Batman v Superman they didn't try to drag it out. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Marvel movies, but like in Civil War, when they kind of slow down and almost freeze frame when Iron Man is shooting directly into Cap's shield, because that's a famous iconic comic book panel. You don't need to freeze frame on it. The fans are going to get it.
Yeah, and as I said to people, the trouble is they have to kind of embellish the film a bit more with other things, because your favourite panel literally represents that amount of time.
Yeah.
And it's like, in a 2-hour film, that's nothing. So they've got to do more. I forgot about the Batman versus Superman one. I'm talking about it, and then it's like, oh yeah, he actually did it, didn't he? But again, it's literally seconds of footage, and they need minutes.
But see, now I'll appreciate this about Marvel, especially, is that they embraced the stupid cheesiness of a lot of this stuff. And so, like, when, back in the early aughts, when Tim Story did the Fantastic Four, they were afraid that a 1,000-foot tall purple armored guy was going to just look stupid on the big screen. And so, no, we're not going to do that. Of course, then last year, that's exactly what they did. And the funny thing is, I don't know if you guys know this, but I was blown away when I saw this. That is not CG. Galactus, Galactus. Every shot you see of Galactus is literally the actor in the suit. He has the full armor on. There's some behind the scenes footage where you can see him in the armor walking around set. The only thing that they do that's CG is little embellishments like debris falling from the buildings and stuff like that. But he is literally, it's Godzilla all over again. It's a dude in a suit walking through a model city. And it's so well shot and done. Plus they cast, I can't remember the actor's name, a British guy who has such a ridiculously deep voice. That's not even an embellished voice on Galactus. That's just the dude's voice.
It's like one of my things.
I haven't watched any of the Fantastic Four movies, so.
What?
So
every time I was interested, after I saw the reviews, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not interested. Besides, I didn't particularly like the casting for any of them either. So.
Okay, let me talk about that for a second, because of the first. Well, I wouldn't say they're the first, because actually the Roger Corman one was first, but...
We did not talk about the Roger Corman one.
But in the Tim Story films, I think that Reed, Geoff, however you say his name, it's kind of ironic. He looks exactly like Reed Richards now. But he was way too young when they cast him in the Tim Story films.
The entire cast, with the exception of the Human Torch, in that one was too young.
I think Michael Chiklis was I think
Michael Chiklis was okay as the Thing. Yeah.
No, I think more than okay. I think Michael Chiklis and Chris Evans were perfect as the Thing and the Torch. The problem is that they had a crappy Reed and Sue, who were supposed to be like the straight men of the quartet. And Sue, I mean, Jessica Alba, she's lovely, but she doesn't have the acting chops to pull off Sue. Now,
Vanessa
Kirby, who plays her in the new one, she does. She pulls off the fact that Sue she's the beautiful blonde bombshell, but she's also ridiculously intelligent. So she's there for a reason, you know. Johnny, this is something that for the first time they make Johnny intelligent instead of, yes, he likes chicks, but there's more to his character than just liking chicks and wanting to pick on the thing. He's there for a reason, and in this, he's the one that figures out the Silver Surfer's language so that they can kind of negotiate with her a little bit. And then Reed. Now, Pedro Pascal. When I heard it was Pedro Pascal, I rolled my eyes. I was like, oh no, this is going to suck so bad. Then when I saw the movie, I had a feeling that I've not had in a very long time. And that feeling was when Batman 1989 came out, and I was so pissed off that Mr. Mom was going to play Batman. Pedro Pascal nails it as Reed Richards.
I don't know. But first of all, I don't hate Pedro Pascal as an actor. I thought
I hate him. I just think
he did a decent job as Prince Oberyn. Even though you rarely ever saw his face, I liked him in The Mandalorian, the first 2 seasons. But when I saw that he was going to be playing Reed Richards, I was like, no, he looks too old to play Reed. And from what I heard of the certain people, they were saying that his character hardly does anything throughout the movie. So, you know.
First of all, Terry, let me ask you: you're a comic book fan or no?
Yeah, I've read a few. I like my superheroes. I watch the films. I can take or leave it. I'm not super passionate, and I don't hate them. Okay. If you know what I mean. I enjoy it. I enjoy characters more than I do necessarily the comics themselves. Right. That makes sense.
When it comes to comics, Fantastic Four is my jam. In fact, I have right over there in boxes every single issue of Fantastic Four ever published after issue number 25. I don't have the first 25, but I should say I don't have the first 24, but I have from 25 onward. And 25, by the way, was Hulk versus Thing, which is a great. I got to see that in Marvel. But when you say Reed, Pedro seems too old for Reed. This is the first time they got Reed close to the right age. In Fantastic Four #1, it's kind of embarrassing because Reed was supposed to be in his mid to late 40s, and Sue was like 16.
Yikes. Yeah, I always thought that Reed was in his my ideal Reed in my head is like in his early
30s. That's my jam.
There you go. Reed is way older than most people think. And the funny thing is, Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal are close to the right age ratio. He is in his 50s. She's like 30, I think, right around there. And so that's actually about right. He's like 20 years older than her, and that's good. And the one dude that was in The Bear that plays the Thing in this, he's another one that I was like, I don't know. No, he is Ben Grimm. He absolutely is. The only thing that's really missing to me is Johnny doesn't play any pranks on Ben in this, but I'm hoping that comes later. Sorry, I know we're rambling on about stuff you guys.
No, it's okay. We do talk about things that are tangential because of our fandom.
We go off on tangents all the time. It's cool. Yeah. It's funny you say about translating things. What I would just like to share is, as you tell, massive Transformers fan.
Yes.
Right. When people saw the designs for the 2007 movie, and they're going, "Oh no, it's too detailed. It's this." That's like, could you imagine the box formers of the 80s
it would have looked
in a live action style? It wouldn't have translated. So that intricate, all the chains, the sprockets, and everything they did made you able to picture that in the live action. So I actually really like what they did.
For me, with the Transformers, Well, okay, I do have my beef with especially the first one, in that when they were fighting, sometimes it was very hard to tell what was going on.
Yeah.
Because
that was just the way that they were built. I did not like the design.
No, I don't think it's that. I think the problem was the camera was too close. We needed a longer shot so we could actually see the robots fighting. Instead, we got close-ups of shoulders and arms and feet and guns and fists. And I'm like, I don't know which one is which because I can't see the whole robot. And unless I have the color scheme of everything perfectly memorized, I'm a little confused.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. However, as far as all the little bits and bobbles that make up the Transformers, to me, that made them feel more alive. It made me think that these are life forms that are mimicking stuff as opposed to just, literally a car that turns into a robot. And instead, I felt more like these are living creatures, and I like that.
Right.
Brandon, you hated it.
No, I actually enjoyed the Michael Bay Transformers.
He knows I'll fight him. I'll reach through the screen and fight him if he tells me they're bad.
I understand Michael Bay as a movie maker. He makes movies that are supposed to be fun. He's not in it to win awards or anything like that. I think he's a hell of a cinematographer. So I understood all that. But you know what? I think we need to go ahead and cut it down for right now. Because I usually do these we do these every Saturday, and the way my work schedule is, 1 week I'm off, 1 week I work. Well, that one Saturday I'm off, one Saturday I work. And unfortunately, this is a work Saturday.
He was gone. Oh God, I've got to go to work, guys. I need to end it.
But it's okay. It's okay. Michael, how would you like to join us? Michael, how would you like to join us next Saturday? Are you going to be available? We can continue where we left off.
It should be. Yeah, I usually, like right now, because we haven't talked in a long time, but lots happened in my life. I currently don't work a regular job, and because I'm actually on Social Security disability. But so I drive Uber to try, because Social Security, by the way, don't get disabled if you're in America. It will ruin you. Social Security disability, I get the maximum possible benefit. I get $25,000 a year, and I'm supposed to maintain my house on $25,000 a year.
I know what the exchange rate is on that, and it's less than what I'll earn when I start my job at the end of the month.
Yeah, and so it's like I can barely pay the mortgage.
Yikes.
I would just want to end on one thing though, Brandon, where we've all talked about this, and this was based on what you asked us right at the start on realism. And basically, I try to make things feel real, even if it's a fantastical technology that doesn't exist. I want people to be able to picture it in their mind's eye and feel like it can inhabit that space.
That's kind of in the Star Trek vein of things, I think. A lot of fans think Star Trek is real science. It's not. It's magic, but it's written to sound like science.
Yeah,
which is
where the technobabble comes from.
Yeah, technobabble bad, but especially like you look at the original series and the early Berman era stuff, it's just written to make you think that there's a science background behind it.
Something I do use in the writing. Sorry, Brandon, we are going on a little bit.
Yeah, no,
and I took this actually a little bit from the remake of Battlestar Galactica. A lot of the crews, they have shorthand for things. So you call it the grav drive or anti-grav. You don't call it the graviton wave displacement drive.
Right.
It's the G drive, the grav drive, the Tesseract unit,
like
whatever.
Drive and Galactica. And they've never explained how it works. But that's okay. Most of the stuff is really grounded.
You just talk about you jump. You don't make a hyperspace jump. You jump. Because you go through hyperspace every day. It's so normal to you. So everything is done in the form of shorthand, and your audience will catch up and know what they're talking about.
Anyway, so back to Brandon, I know having to run. What I was trying to say with all that is... since what I do is I drive Uber to basically keep us from losing the house. But my schedule then is incredibly flexible. So usually, yes, I can be here. As long as I get home in time, which today I literally walked in and I was a couple minutes late. So I apologize for that.
That doesn't matter. You join us when you can. Join us when you can. It's cool, and we appreciate you coming.
But no, if you like me here, sure, I'll be the annoying old grumpy guy. I don't.
Okay. Well, okay, everyone. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna have you next. Week, Michael, next Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're gonna have to go on ahead and
because Brandon's bum squeaking now.
So we're thankful to Michael for joining us. Michael, you still have your YouTube thing. What is it you do on YouTube? What's it called again?
Well, a couple things.
Yeah, plug yourself. Come on.
Well, no, I have a channel called Exposed. It's X and then posed separately with a hyphen. And that we talk about theology and science and politics and all that stuff you're not supposed to talk about in polite company. And then I have two other channels. One is called Nerd Fights, which is the one that your guy recognized me from.
Yeah.
On that one, me, a guy named Danny, another guy named Mr. Know-It-All, like to fight about all the current, Star Trek, Star Wars, stuff like that. So we mostly do live streams on that channel. And then I'm just getting going a channel called Salty Plus, a play on like Disney Plus and Paramount Plus and all that. So the Salty Plus network is where I'm going to talk about Star Trek, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, Marvel. And by the way, this is an old 3D print of mine, but I just have to show it given current events.
Nice, Dr. Jones. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Except that it needs some Robert Downey Jr. behind it, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm all over the place, and I'm working. The reason the Borg ship and all that is actually for that channel. I'm working on something behind the scenes.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us right now, Michael. Hope to see you again for next time. And all I ask, man, is that you give kind of in your video, in your live streams, give us a little shout out. If you ever want me to join you on something, I definitely will.
Sure.
And so for all of you out there, guys, thank you very much for watching us. For those of you who were here, even in the sidelines watching us, even though you didn't give us any comments.
Of course, one thing we would say is, please like our content, and in the words of Rita Repulsa, make our channel grow.
I like that. And that's absolutely, people, comment, rate, subscribe. You got and all of our other stuff, as I said in the beginning, is down in the doobly-doo. And so this is Brandon Hill and Terrence Pegasus. We're hoping that you will join us once again on the Northwest Passage. Stay lucky out there and stay blessed. Take care.
See you later. Thank you.